I'm Augustus. I am traveling to the United States to listen to Americans I meet and to tell them about my candidacy for President of the United States in 2028. I'm here in Lansing, Michigan. I'm standing at a Capitol that was built in the Victorian Renaissance style, a structure defined by its towering white dome and the hand-painted muses that gaze down from the rotunda, representing the progress of art, agriculture, and liberty. That Great Lakes state soul is exactly what I intend to carry with me to DC, a reminder of a place that knows how to build, how to reinvent itself, and how to stand strong as the arsenal of democracy. From the industrial pulse of Detroit to the quiet majesty of the UP, Michigan knows that real leadership isn't about winning an argument, it's about honoring the social contract we have with one another. This is the 35th capital of my 50 plus 1 capitals tour. My plan seems obvious and necessary to me, but for other presidential candidates, it could be considered unnecessary and maybe even a waste of time. The plan is to visit every capital in this country over the course of about 60 days, not to give motivational speeches, but to listen. I'm here to hear about the struggles of the workers in the auto plants, the rising costs of childcare that make it harder for younger families to get ahead, and the innovators from Grand Rapids to Ann Arbor who are tired of playing a rigged game where the rules are written by and for the biggest donors. Michigan is the Wolverine state. It's a title that carries a legacy of tenacity, born from a people who aren't afraid of a hard day's work or a long winter. Michigan's strength isn't just in the history of the assembly line, it's the pioneering spirit of the cherry growers in Traverse City and the resilience of cities that have been the heartbeat of American manufacturing for generations. It's the community that looks out for one another when the snow piles high, standing firm together until the spring thaw. There is a growing gap between the politics of the moment and the people living the long haul. We're being led by a class of people who invest all their energy into winning the next 24-hour news cycle, while the families of the Great Lakes are investing their lives into the next generation. They treat your concerns like a seasonal interest to be harvested every few years, but you deserve a champion who knows that Michigan isn't a campaign stop, it's a cornerstone. They offer distraction, you offer the backbone. I'm standing here at the Michigan State Capitol. Its cast iron dome, painted to look like stone, serves as a beacon in the heart of the mitten. It's a symbol of authority, but the real power of this state isn't in the ornate chandeliers or the glass floor of the rotunda, it's in the resolve, the belief that si quaeris peninsulum amanam circumspice. If you seek a pleasant peninsula, look about you. It's a call to protect the beauty and the people of this land. This building stands as a testament to a state that led the way in education and labor rights, understanding the republic only stands if its foundation is rooted in the needs of the many, not the desires of the few. Lately, it feels like the Pleasant Peninsula is only for those at the top, while the average worker is struggling. Michigan once led the way in creating the American middle class. It's time that we make the security of the families who are currently holding this country up on their tired shoulders the country's top priority. Michigan has always been a place that put the world on wheels, but right now, a lot of families feel like they're just spinning theirs. You don't need another speech about the glory days of industry when your current reality is a local school board that's strapped for cash or a water bill that costs more than a week's groceries. I'm here because for a lot of you, getting by has become a full-time job with no overtime pay. To lead a place like Michigan, you have to be willing to admit that if the people who actually build this country can't afford to live in it, the whole system is broken. To lead the whole country, you have to know the whole country, and you can't know the country from a high-flying jet, a speeding motorcade, or a gilded office in DC. You have to marvel at the Great Lakes, like the Lake Michigan and Lake Huron shorelines that define your borders. Admire the views along the Pacific Coast Highway, cross the mighty Mississippi, and visit the beautiful Smoky Mountains. Having lived in 7 states and visited all 50 at least once before, I think I have a glimmer of understanding of who we, the people of the United States, are. But you can never stop learning. That's why I'm visiting each state again, and I will continue to do so both during my campaign and during my term. Now, you might be thinking, who is this guy? As I said, I'm Augustus. I was born in New York State 65 years ago. Like you, I've spent much of my life working. I've seen presidents come and go and industries rise and fall. And I've watched as the people who keep this nation functioning, the drivers on I-75, the crews maintaining our infrastructure, and the nurses at your local hospital are treated like sheep or cattle, not human beings. You may ask yourself, is he qualified? The Constitution says I am. You need to decide for yourself what qualified means to you. To me, for instance, being qualified means working as hard as I can to help the most people possible. Think about the people who meet in this capital or in Washington, D.C. How many of them are qualified in your eyes? How many of them are working to make your housing affordable or your prescription drugs manageable? It seems to me that many representatives have forgotten the primary requirement of their jobs, remembering who they represent. They shouldn't represent the lobbyists, they shouldn't represent their party, and they definitely should not represent the ultra-rich. Your representatives and the President of the United States should represent you, period. I stand for the people, not for corporations that treat employees like disposable parts, not for the rich and ultra-rich who treat the law as a suggestion, and not for the special interests who think that their way is the only way. I believe in a land of freedom and opportunity, not a land where out-of-state interests squeeze the life out of the towns you've called home for generations. Why consider an unaffiliated, unconventional candidate like me? Maybe because you're exhausted. You're sick of having to choose between generic candidate A and generic candidate B, neither of whom has had to decide between a medical bill and a grocery run. While a vote for a candidate who isn't a member of one of the two major parties can be scary, isn't it scarier to have to choose between bad and worse? Choose to vote for someone who will actually work to make your lives better. Vote from compassion, not fear. I'm headed to Indianapolis, Indiana next. I have 15 capitals and many miles yet to go. If you see me in your state later this year, don't just take a picture. Come over and say hello. Tell me what's keeping you up at night. Tell me what you want for your children. I'm Augustus, and I'm here to listen. I'll see you in a state where you live. And I have to do it a couple of times because I mess up a lot. So, of who? Okay, Huron shorelines. Boop, and my hair. Get the hair out of my face. Okay.